It's been about a month since my last Red Dead Online update video, where I took a look at 2 weeks worth of content updates added to the game. The first of those updates was the infamous big update that really wasn't very big at all. But since then, Rockstar has been consistent with their support and added a new mode to the game each week, with one more currently dated as of the making of this video. So today I'll be taking a look at 4 weeks worth of updates from March and April 2019, complete with footage, my thoughts on each update overall, whether or not you should check these modes out yourself, and what I'd like to see more of or less of going forward. Let's not waste any more time and get into a surprisingly diverse batch of content updates for Red Dead Online. Let's begin with the 2 new showdown modes added to the game over the last month. First, we'll look at Spoils of War, which was added with the March 12th update, and then we have Up in Smoke, which is hot off the presses from the April 2nd content update. Spoils of War is basically your standard capture the flag mode incorporated here into the Red Dead Redemption 2 engine. Appropriately enough, instead of a flag, you're capturing a bag full of cash and gold. I have to admit, there's not much more to it than that, but there really doesn't have to be. Capture the flag is a tried and true formula for any shooter really, and I'm happy to see it pop up here in Red Dead Online. Of all the maps I played on, my favorite was the Braithwaite Manor as seen in this video, and I think this map specifically, which is pretty small, lends itself really well to this mode in particular. 2 teams start on opposite sides of the house, and it's an all-out battle to get your hands on that sack of gold and deliver it to your team's side. If Capture the Flag is a PvP mode that you're interested in, then I think you'll definitely have some fun with this game type. From my experience with Spoils of War so far, it's far more hectic and fast-paced compared to the other showdown modes. It shares a lot of its DNA with Hostile Territory, which honestly has been the showdown mode I've had the most fun with up to this point. Hostile Territory has players running all over the place trying to either capture or defend a number of different territories, but here in Spoils of War, of course, this all becomes a lot more focused with just the one flag that both teams must fight over. Next up, let's take a look at the newest mode added to Red Dead Online, Up in Smoke. Each team has to protect their base, which has a set amount of HP and are located on each end of the map. Players then pick up bags that basically transform them into a mobile bomb. If you can make it all the way to your opponent's base without being killed while holding the bag, you blow off a chunk of your opponent's HP, and you keep doing that until it reaches 0. It's a really straightforward concept, and I have to say I did have a lot of fun just messing around with this mode, but that's depending on the map. Many of the showdown mode maps in Red Dead Online are basically just a random rectangle in a field. They're very open, super linear, and kind of just have boxes or wagons or whatever appropriate 1890s object placed at random for players to take cover behind. The design of these maps feel a bit haphazard, and for this mode in particular, it kind of hurts the experience. Where this mode shines is on the more complex maps, specifically the absolute labyrinth that is Saint Denis. Up in Smoke is at its best when you're trying to find the safest and most stealth route possible from your base to your opponents without being detected. At the same time, it's fun to master each possible route your opponent could enter your base from and trying your best to cover every possible option with your team. On those more open maps, a lot of that strategy just isn't possible, and the game devolves into a firefight with neither team really making much progress. I was actually able to finish some games in Saint Denis, whereas the games on the open fields usually just went to time because no one followed the objective and were just blowing each other away over and over and over. I think Capture the Flag clicked a bit better with me personally, but I can see Up in Smoke being a lot of fun with a group of friends, and if you really master all the different routes on a map like Saint Denis, it could be a great way to make some quick cash, gold, and XP. Overall, I like this addition to the Showdown series, and I'd recommend giving it a shot yourself, especially if you're playing with a posse. Now, to be completely honest, I never really got super into the traditional shooter-based PvP modes in either GTA Online or Red Dead Online. They're not bad or anything, but unless Rockstar offers an XP or cash multiplier, most of the time, I'd just rather spend my time exploring the open world, or doing story missions, or in the case of Red Dead Online specifically, completing the daily challenges. But with all that said, I'm happy to see Rockstar adding more and more variety to the Showdown mode, because here with Spoils of War and Up in Smoke, I could definitely say these are two of the more fun Showdown modes the game has to offer, at least from my personal experience. Maybe in the future they'll give us something even better, something we haven't even thought of yet. If you're on the fence, I definitely at least give Spoils of War a shot, because when it comes to Showdown modes in Red Dead Online, it's definitely the best one of those. The March 19th update brought us a brand new free roam event, and this is one that I've been super excited for since it was announced. Many Red Dead players have been waiting for this one since online was released. It's the Fishing Challenge. For the first time, competitive fishing comes to Red Dead Online. I, for one, love fishing in Red Dead Redemption 2. I've spent far more time fishing and listening to podcasts than I ever imagined I would, so this sounds right up my alley. There's only one problem though. It's a free roam event. This is the part of the video where I might rant a little, so buckle up folks. In my last video, I was super pumped to talk about the new free roam event included with the March 5th content update, Fool's Gold. I heard lots of good things about the new mode, and honestly that gold armor just looks dope as hell. I was all set to play that mode like crazy and share my thoughts with all my friends here on YouTube, but I couldn't. Why is that? Well, Rockstar, for whatever reason, had the bright idea of making free roam events damn near impossible to play unless you get lucky. For those unaware, free roam events are basically free-for-all PvP modes. Gameplay-wise, they're really no different from the PvP modes here that we can select from the menu, except you can't select them from a menu. At completely random intervals, an invite like this will pop up on your screen. If you accept, you're warped to some random part of the map to participate in the PvP game. But wait, what if you're in the middle of a stranger mission? Oh well, too bad. Trying to clear those daily challenges? Tough. Gotta take a crap. Hold it in, brother. Because that's the invite, and if you don't accept it right then and there, you don't get to participate in the free roam event until you get another invite. But what's worse, what's far worse than the mere inconvenience that is, you know, interrupting whatever you're in the middle of, is the frequency of these invites. I play Red Dead Online almost every day for at least an hour a day. Do you know how many of these invites I get per play session? This many! As of this update, there are 7 free roam events available to play in Red Dead Online. So let's do the math here. I could play Red Dead Online for an hour a day, 7 days in a row, and not even receive an invite to each of the 7 free roam events. I've played Red Dead Online damn near every day in the month of March. Do you know how many times I received an invite to play Fool's Gold? 3 times. 3 times in 31 days. In case you haven't realized it by now, the Fishing Challenge free roam event went live 2 weeks ago as of the making of this video, and I still have not received a single opportunity to actually try out the mode for myself. Rockstar, I just want to play your game. Let me play your game. Now, I don't really have an issue with this free roam event structure on paper. It is a fun little way to keep players on their toes. Since there's these unique game modes that you can't just start up anytime you feel like on command, there's a weird sort of excitement in the air when playing the game, and you never know which event is just gonna pop up for you at any moment. It's kinda like pulling a rare Pokemon card or something. In fact, a similar system actually exists in GTA Online in the form of the free mode events. Various challenges or events will pop up for the player every 12 or 15 minutes when playing GTA Online, and it works, and it's fun. See, that's cool and all, but here's the reality of the situation. GTA Online has so much content at this point that players are literally given the option to hide certain jobs or missions, because there's too damn many and the screen gets cluttered sometimes. These free mode events in GTA Online act as a complement, a cherry on top of the beefy, deep experience that is GTA Online. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have the Red Dead Online Beta, a mode that is not exactly bursting from the seams with content. Quite the contrary. Hot take incoming, there's not a whole lot to do here in the Red Dead Online Beta. Rockstar is not in the position to be locking away 7 unique game modes behind a random timer that the player can't even see. I really wish they could just allow players to start each of these 7 game modes themselves and invite other players from the server to play it anytime. Or at the very least, dramatically reduce the time between each invite. If I don't want to play, I'll just decline and keep doing what I'm doing. Instead, we have a situation where I'm dying to play and that opportunity just won't show up no matter how much I play the game. That is not good. So unfortunately, I'm left in a situation where I really want to play more of these 7 modes and give a more informed take, but that's simply impossible as someone who works a 9 to 5, 7 days a week, and then spends most of my other waking hours writing and editing YouTube videos. But hey, I'm not completely useless. My thoughts on the fishing challenge will have to wait until next week, but for now, let's at least talk about that Fool's Gold mode a little bit. Might as well. Turns out, it's kind of fun, but also kind of broken. Fool's Gold runs into the same issue that a lot of the PvP modes have in Red Dead Online. You're on a timer, 7 minutes to be exact, and your character just kind of spawns a good distance away from the goal or objective of the game. From there, it's a free-for-all and a mad dash between you and all the other players to either collect the item or kill anyone you see. Most of the time, players seem to opt for the latter. Instead of actually going for the objective, you're just gonna get picked off by someone that spawns behind you. From my experience, this is how the majority of free roam events tend to go down. If you're lucky, you might make it to that coveted gold armor. And at that point, I gotta say, it's pretty damn fun just picking off fools like you're the Terminator. But again, this all comes back around to the structure of free roam events overall. Is it really worth waiting hours and hours for that invite to pop up in game? To join this mode, a 7-minute game where 70% of the time you just get picked off by a random player who spawns behind you, only to finally get that fabled gold armor and blow those busters away for like a minute or 2? The answer for me at least is no, not really. Now, if I could just play Fool's Gold at any time, like the showdown modes that we just covered, that would change my thoughts on the mode dramatically. Every time I played Fool's Gold, I wanted to jump back in for another game or 2, but unfortunately that option just doesn't exist. If that invite does pop up for you, I definitely say drop what you're doing and give it a shot, because odds are it won't be popping up again for a long time. Here's hoping that Rockstar tweaks the free roam events in the future and just makes them a little more accessible for players overall. Alright, positivity friends, let's get positive again. The next update we'll be covering here in the video was added on March 26th and is an all-new race mode called Target Races. And I'll be completely honest here, this is not only my favorite mode included with this batch of updates, but it might actually be my favorite PvP mode in Red Dead Online overall. Here with Target Races, Red Dead Online continues the legacy that Ocarina of Time started back 20 years ago, and boy am I loving it. As you'd expect, Target Races tests not only your horse riding skills, but your aim while on horseback as well. While you can auto-lock to targets, it's not quite as simple as it sounds. If you want to win the race, you'll have to be moving as quickly as possible, which means keeping an eye out for the stamina barrels that will spawn as you make your way towards the finish line. As well, you can actually take out other players with your weapon, but you won't be able to lock on to other players. Indeed, you'll have to use free aim if you want to temporarily take out an opponent and send them back a few yards. It's like a violent 19th century version of Mario Kart, pretty much. In time, I'm sure a variation of this mode will become available that will test your skills entirely through free aim, with no auto aim option at all, because at this point, free aim servers still remains one of the most requested features for Red Dead Online, and I can't imagine it's not in the works at the moment. As it stands though, this mode is a nice little compromise between the two styles of aiming, and definitely forces players to flex their aiming muscles more than usual. So in conclusion, I've been having a pretty good time with Red Dead Online over the last month. Of this batch of updates, the Target Races are easily my favorite addition, and have actually become a staple of my daily Red Dead Online grind, alongside the daily challenges. In my hour or two of daily gameplay, now with Target Races in the loop, I have to say once again that I'm legitimately enjoying my time with Red Dead Online pretty much every time I play, even though the mode clearly still has a long way to go and could be so much more than it currently is. Now the verdict. With these new content updates from March and April 2019, is Red Dead Online worth jumping back into? Well, as of right now, I'd say no. If the daily challenges from February weren't enough to pull you back, I don't think there's really anything substantial from this set of updates that will likely change your mind. But I do recommend checking out those target races specifically, simply because out of all the updates here in this video that I was able to play, it was the target races with its integration of horseback riding and free aim shooting that felt the most like an experience totally unique to Red Dead. And it's those kinds of unique experiences that take advantage of the setting that I want to see more of in Red Dead Online going forward. The new showdown modes are fun and all, like I explained before, but also very tried and true and can be found pretty frequently in a lot of other shooters. In that vein, I'd love to recommend the Fishing Challenge, another mode that really speaks to the 19th century American setting, but that's only if you manage to stumble upon an invite to the mode while you play. Unfortunately, I haven't had much luck. If I had to provide a timeline for when my recommendation might change from a no to a yes, well, I have to say that I'm really hedging my bets on that Road Ahead update, which is planned for release before the end of spring. By then, I'm hoping we'll have a bunch of additional weekly content updates added to Red Dead Online that will provide even more unique gameplay modes and overall variation to the game. Next, as I've said time and time again in this video, I want to see that timer shortened between free roam events, and I'm hoping that change will be implemented in the near future because the current system just doesn't make much sense. Finally, the Road Ahead update itself will be very key, as it promises to completely fix the way the game encourages griefing, in addition to new main story missions, new stranger missions, a passive mode, and the introduction of dynamic events. In case you missed it, I did a full breakdown of the Road Ahead update a couple of days ago on the channel, so definitely check that video out if you haven't already. If all those features come together the way I'm imagining it in my head, I really think Red Dead Online is finally going to hit that sweet spot where I could begin recommending it to other players totally in good faith. So I think that's going to do it for today's video. Here's the plan. Next week, I'm going to take a look at the new Plunder game type for Showdown Mode, and alongside that, I'm going to give my thoughts on that Fishing Challenge, assuming the RNG gods are friendly and I actually get an invite to that free roam event between now and next week. If you want to see more daily Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. We are now well into Chapter 2 of my daily video series, where I provide commentary as I replay the story mode of Red Dead Redemption 2 entirely in first person and with HUD elements off. And of course, expect those consistent Red Dead Online content update videos as well, in addition to a whole lot more fun surprises I have in the works. Until next time, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.